I'm Anil Kumar. In this video, I have taken up 10 questions which are based on new pattern of SAT. Now in these questions, you are allowed calculator. However, I'll try to do them without calculator. You will see that how fast we can do even without calculator all such questions. Some of the questions are listed here. So we'll be working with quadratic equations, cone, geometrical figures, and then this is composition of functions. Here we have a rational function. Then we are talking about a circle and then complex numbers. So you can see wide variety of questions are there in this set of video, and I hope that is going to help you a lot to practice. Let's begin in the reverse order. So we'll start with the complex numbers. Now many students have requested to understand about complex numbers. So let's begin by just saying that iota I square is -1, or we could say square root of -1 is I, right? So that is the complex part in a complex number. Now the question here is, which of the following complex numbers is equivalent to the given one? So what we should do here is we need to rationalize, right? So we'll rationalize. Rationalization means multiply and divide by the conjugate. And normally you rationalize the denominator. So we have 3 minus 5i divided by 8 plus 2i times conjugate of denominator is 8 minus 2i over 8 minus 2i. Now some of you can actually factor the denominator, rewrite the equation as 4 minus I, so you'll be working with smaller values, correct? I haven't done it purposely, but some of you can and save some more time in calculations. Now when you do square of the bottom, you get a square minus b square. However, square of I is negative, so it becomes positive, correct? Anyway, we will do in complete details. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times minus 2i is 6i minus. Then we'll multiply by 5, 40i, and plus 10i square. Denominator we get a square minus b square. A square is 8 times 8, 64, minus b square, which is 4i square. Now as you know, I square is positive, so this will become positive, right? Now we are going to combine the terms which are similar, like terms. So we have 24, 6 and 40 makes it minus 46i. Now this basically is negative, right? -1, so it becomes minus 10 divided by, and here we get 64 minus and minus makes it positive, so we have plus 4. This could now be written as 24 minus 10 as 14 minus 46i divided by 68. So we have answers to 34. Let us divide this by 2 and see what do we get. So if I divide this by 2, we get 7 minus 23i over 34, right? So that is how you're going to get the answer, which matches with option C, correct? So we have done very slowly, only to show you all the steps, but this could have been done in much shorter time. Let's move on and see the next question. Now here, what is the radius of the given equation? Now this equation is for the circle, correct? This is for the circle, whose center is not at the origin, right? Now let us see how to find the radius of such a circle. Let's rewrite the equation. The concept is to complete the squares, right? So that is the concept in solving such questions. I think there is a typing error here. There cannot be, so I'll just make it, for the time being, I'll just make it y. There are no xy terms in this. So basically we have two x terms. One is with square, one is without square. So I just made this correction, hopefully. I mean, let's see what do we get, right? Anyway, you will understand the method. So we have x squared. The x term here is minus 4x. So let me write here minus 4x. Then we have plus y square, where y square, the term is plus 6y. And then we have equals to 12. Now, to make perfect square from x square minus 4x, we can add both sides 2 square. So we'll rewrite this as x square minus 4x plus 2 square. Now once you do it on the left side, you have to also do it on the right side. So it is 12 plus 2 square is 4. So I'm adding 4. Now for y's, this is called completing the squares. Y square plus 6y. Half of 6 is 3. So we are squaring 3. So we are adding 3 square because half of 6 is 3. And 3 square is 9. So I'm adding 9 to the other side. Now these three terms form a perfect square, x minus 2 whole square, plus here we get y plus 3 whole square. And on the right side, you can add them all. 9 plus 4, 13 plus 12, 25, right? Which is 5 square, correct? So you have a circle whose center is at 2 and minus 3, and the radius is 5. 5 square is 25, radius is 5. So that is how you can get radius of your circle, right? At times they can also tell you to find the center. Now let's see the next question, which is if x square plus y square equals to 340 and y equals to 4x, what is the value of x square? So we want x square. We'll keep x square now. We have x square plus y square equals to 340. We know y equals to 4x. So we'll substitute y with 4x. We get x square plus 4x whole square equals to 340. X square plus, calculator is allowed here. You can always use calculator in such questions, okay? 1 plus 16 is 17. So we get 17x square equals to 340. X square equals to 340 divided by 17, right? 7 times 2. So we get 20 here. So x square is 20. That is what we need to find. Option D is the correct option. Next question is, for what values of x is this function undefined? Now this is a rational function. Let me rewrite this a little bigger. So the function here is 2 times x minus 3 whole square plus 4 times x minus 3 plus 2. You will see this is kind of a quadratic function in the denominator, where you could treat this as some variable p, right? So it is quadratic function in p, right? So what we can do here is, first step, factor out half, which you could write like this, 2. And what you get here is x minus 3 whole square plus 2 times x minus 3 plus 1. We can actually factor using product and sum. We need product of 1, sum of 2, so 1 square, right? So we could write this as, in the denominator, of course, x minus 3. So 1 times 1 and 1 plus 1 is 2. So plus 1 whole square becomes the denominator. And this you can simplify, and you can write this as x plus 2, minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2 whole square. And therefore, the restriction will be that x is not equal to 2. So that becomes your restriction for the given question, correct? So that is how you're going to do it. If you substitute 3 here, you get your answer as 2. Do you see that? It is not 0 for 3. It is only undefined for x equals to 2, as we have shown. So I hope that is clear, right? The next question here is, let f of x equals to square root of x square minus 9 divided by x square minus 5. For how many values of x is f of x not defined? That means you have to, how many integers, not just values, how many integers. So the denominator x square minus 5 should not be 0, and that is 0 for which value? X equals to square root of plus minus 5. However, that is not an integer, right? This is not an integer, right? And therefore none. So the option is A in this particular case. Don't write 2. These are irrational numbers, real numbers. Now we have a very interesting exponents question. It says find x if 2 times x to the power of 2 over 3 is equal to square root of 6. Square root of 6 means 6 to the power of half, right? Okay, let's see how to do this one. These are our options. So we'll just rewrite this. X to the power of 2 over 3 is equal to 6 to the power of half, and we'll divide by the number 2. Is it okay? So instead of from here, we have cross multiplied. So we have brought it down. Divide both sides by 2. Now we need x. So x is equals to 6 to the power of half over 2, everything to the power of 3 over 2. So both sides will do power 3 over 2. Now 6 can actually be written as 2 times 3. Remember that part, right? So basically you could also write this as equal to 6 is 2 to the power of half, half times 3 to the power of half, correct? So here we get 2 and here we get 3 over 2, correct? Now we have 2 to the power of half in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. So we could simplify this and rewrite this as 3 to the power of half over 2 to the power of half to the power of 3 by 2. I hope this step is clear, right? So square root 2 and this is 2. So square root 2 comes in the denominator. Is it okay? Now we have both to the power of half. So I could write this as 3 over 2 to the power of 3 over 4. No problems, correct? We have answers to the power of 1 over 4. So I'm going to use the cube now. So that is to say I have 3 cube over 2 cube and everything to the power of 1 over 4. 3 cube is 27 and 2 cube is 8, right? So we have this to the power of 1 over 4. Let me use another ink here. 1 over 4, correct? So that becomes our choice, and option B is the correct option. Okay, you must also notice here that we really did not do any subtraction, division, addition with these fractions, and thereby we saved actually a lot of time. So this is a very efficient way of working with such fractions. The next question here is volume of a cone with height 4.8 inches is 14.4 pi cubic inches. Find its diameter, right? So we are given volume which is 4.8 inches. Now for a cone, what is the formula for volume? It is 1/3 of pi r square h, correct? Now we are given the volume which is 4.8 and height is 4.8 inches. Volume of a cone with a height of 4, So inches of course will be height. And then cubic inches is your volume. So volume is 14.4 pi cubic inches. We need to find diameter. Remember, diameter, not radius, which is twice radius. That is what we have to find. So remember this. You should not check for the radius. You have to find the diameter, correct? So let us apply this formula here, substitute the values which are known and calculate what is unknown. You can always pause the video, do the question and then look into my solution. Volume 14.4 pi equals to 1/3 of pi. Radius we don't know, we have to find, and height is 4.8. Let us isolate radius. We can actually cancel off pi terms. So we get 14.4. We'll multiply by 3, right? We'll multiply by 3 and divide by 4.8, which is equals to r square, correct? Now 4.8, 14.4, Let us simplify. We can divide both by 4, right? We can divide both by 4. Last two numbers can be divided. So 4 times, or we can divide by 2. 4 will be better. 4.8 divided by 4, we get 1.2 here. And dividing by 4, we get 7. 4 times 3 is 12, 36. Correct? And now we can cancel these 3's and we get here 0.4, right? So we can write r square as equal to 3.6 divided by 0.4. You could do 36 over 4. Do you see that part? Now these decimals both multiply by 10. Get rid of decimals. Now simple and straightforward answer, right? Because this goes 9 times. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So r is equals to square root of 9. Radius is always positive. So we get 3 as our value. Remember, we need diameter. So diameter is 2 times radius. So it is 2 times 3. So the answer is 6 inches, right? So 6 inches is the answer for this particular case for the diameter. The next question here is composite functions. If g of x is equal to 2 times x square minus 6 and f of x equals to x square minus 5, find g of f of 2 minus f of g of minus 3. Okay, so we need to find these two things. So let's work this out. G of f of 2 minus f of g of minus 3. Okay, you have to always start from inside function, right? So when we say g of f of 2, then substitute 2 for f. So we get 2 square minus 4. 2 square minus 5, I'm sorry. Okay, and now let's do the right side, which is f of g of minus 3. So we'll substitute minus 3 here. Don't forget this 2, okay? So we get 2 times minus 3 square minus 6. Now calculator is allowed. You could actually use calculator and do this yourself. So here we get 4 minus 5 minus f of, here we get 2 times, that is positive 9. 9 minus 3, 6 is 3. Okay, so we get g of minus 1 minus f of 2 times 3 is 6. Now g of minus 1 really means you have to substitute minus 1 for x. So we get what? We get 2 times minus 1 square is 1 minus 6 minus f of 6. 6 here. 6 square is 36. 36 minus 5. Correct? So this is 2 times minus 5 minus 36 minus 5 is 31. Correct? So we get this is minus 10, which is equals to minus 10 minus 31, which is minus 41 for us. So that is how you can actually do it. Well, with calculator, you could have saved some time in this particular question. Now this is a very interesting question. We have ax minus 7 times bx plus 5 is equal to 6x squared plus cx minus 35. If ab equals to 6 and a minus b equals to minus 1, what are two possible values of c? So we have to find the values of c for the given condition. And we have 4 choices. Okay, so let's work with the conditions. We know AB equal to 6 and A minus B equal to minus 1. Now when the product is 6, you could have combinations and the difference is only minus 1. That means we could work with two values, which is 2 and 3, for example, right? So for A equals to 2 and B equals to 3. 2 times 3 is 6, and if I do 2 minus 3, I do get minus 1. So that is one combination, correct? I could flip this, and if I write this as minus 3 and that as minus 2, it still works. So I could also use A equals to minus 3 and B equals to minus 2. So I have two possible combinations which can give me two different values of C. You get the idea, right? So that is my first step. Two different values of C with these two different combinations. Product and sum types, right? So for factoring, you do product and sum, apply the same strategy. Do not really substitute and work with equations. This saves a lot of time, okay? Now, C is coefficient of X. Do you see that? C is coefficient of X. So we have to just match C, correct? We know 7 times 5 is 35. It is matching, correct? 7 times 5 is 35. It is matching. So we have to match C, which is coefficient of X. How do you get C? Check it out. You can get C if you multiply AX with 5 and minus 7 with BX. So you get 5AX minus 7BX. So if I take X common, I get 5A minus 7B. C is this place. C is this. Do you get my idea? CX. So this is all C. So let's find two values now for these two options. Do you get the idea? Now if you work like this on this particular thinking question, this is actually a thinking question, you're going to save a lot of time. So let's figure it out. One, let's work with values A equals to 2 and B equals to 3. So when I substitute here, I get 5 times 2 minus 7 times 3, 10 minus 21, I get minus 11. Now with minus 11, we have two options, right? Let's do the other one also. A equals to minus 3, B equals to minus 2. When I substitute, I get 5 times minus 3 minus 7 times minus 2. So I get what? Minus 15, and minus minus becomes plus 14. So I get minus 1. So my answer is option B, which is minus 1 or minus 11. Now this is the most interesting question in this set of videos. I mean all the questions which I have taken in this video. I'd like you to go through it and understand this strategy. I hope that really works. The last question here is, the graph of a line in the xy plane has slope of 2 and contains, so we know m equals to 2, and contains a point which is 1, 8. The graph of second line, so this is line 1. The graph of second line passes through points 1, 2 and 2, 1. So this one is through point A, which is 1, 2, and B, which is 2, 1. If two lines intersect at a point AB, what is the value of A plus B? So we need to find point of intersection. Is it okay? So let's find equation of line first. So first equation will be y equals to, slope is 2, 2x plus b. Substitute the values. 8 equals to 2 plus b. So b equals to 8 minus 2, which is 6. And therefore the equation is y equals to 2x plus 6. Now here we have to first find the slope, right? So let's find the slope first. So we have m equals to y2 minus y1, that is 1 minus 2 divided by 2 minus 1, which is minus 1 over 1, which is minus 1. So we get y equals to minus x plus b. You could use any point, 1, 2. Let's use that. So 2 is for this, minus x, minus 1 plus b. So b is 3 for you, correct? Since b is 3, the equation of this line will be y equals to minus x plus 3. So we have two equations. We have to find by substitution or elimination the point of intersection, right? If two lines intersect at point AB, right? So we have to find xy. So let's substitute and get our answer. So what we will do here is we'll say 2x plus 6 equals to minus x plus 3. Bringing that together, 3x equals to, taking this side, minus 3, and that gives you x equals to minus 1. Now if I write x equals to minus 1, I get y equals to, minus makes it plus, 1 plus 3, which is 4. So my points are minus 1 and 4. If I add them, I get 3 as my answer, right? So minus 1 plus 4 is 3. Do you see that? That is how you could answer this. So I hope you appreciate that these questions can also be done without much using the calculator. Try to solve the questions without calculator as far as possible. It is much faster. I've seen that. I hope you like my strategies and the video. Feel free to make your suggestions, like and share my videos. Thanks and all the best.